After 1964 here racing taking place during Wednesday and Sunday. I would have mentioned Market Rasen, an interesting veterans race taking place, but that was cancelled yesterday, Market Rasen. So we start here at Catterick, the happy 106th birthday, Frank Buttery handicap hurdle race over 3 miles, 171 yards, even, and as they always call it Twitter, there's actually the Go Racing Yorkshire account as a picture of Frank still there. Incredible to see you guys that old and still going racing. And in addition, I was saying also in my previous video, but another pointing pointers up 100 steeplechase over the 3 miles, 1 furlong and 54 yards. There's a lot less racing I mentioned this week, as there's probably because of the Wolverhampton Festival next week. There's a lot less interesting races or top quality races taking place. A video next week will not mention Cheltenham Festival or mention anything outside of that, so say Midlands National is the obvious one. Tomorrow at Haydock have a Tim Maloney handicap steeplechase. I think that some of the time actually as part of a series finals meeting, Challenger Series finals, something like that. It was sort of the 7th race there. Obviously that's changed when it is now in the schedule. This race is first run at Haydock in 1995, and Tim Maloney's name has slightly passed me by, and surprisingly so really. I was looking him up, I thought who he was, and actually really he's quite a well-known jumps jockey, notable champion jockey after the end of the Second World War, and actually winning the champion hurdle 4 years in a row. Finally, Hatton Grace's 3 wins, and then with Sir Kenry the next 3 years, or Tim Maloney was riding then. And after we on Tim Maloney, also he's slightly maybe overshadowed memory by his very talented flattered jump jockey Martin Maloney, who died in 2017, Tim Maloney himself dying in 1989. On Friday at Leicester, 5 different military races. These are the Coastwing Guards Association handicap steeplechase, 2 miles 425 yards, All England Regiment handicap steeplechase, 2 miles 6151 yards, HMS Dairy Worn Navy T45 Destroyer Mares handicap steeplechase, mouthful that one, again 2 miles 425 yards, Royal Lancers handicap steeplechase over 1 mile 200 yards, and Leicestershire and Derbyshire Yeomanry Open Hunters steeplechase over the same distance. Long-term races here being the Lancers and the Yeomanry races, both from the 90s. Well, Coastwing Guards races round since 2022. It looks like the other 2 races are new inventions. Then at Sandown, we long-term Imperial Cup meeting. We'll start with not the first race on the card, start with the Imperial Cup, very well-known handicap hurdle. Interesting, no longer apparently Premier Handicap. That slightly surprised me. It's good prize money. Your total prize £100,000. Well, a little lost by why it's not a Premier Handicap anymore. And it's still down as a Class 2. That'll be over 1 mile 216 yards. And all the other races are of interest as well. A lot less prize money, but still of interest. Over the same distance as a listed Open National Flat race. In fact, a very rare time National Flat race in the middle of a card. I don't know if the Worcester Fixed Push Finals race still has that. I remember going to that once, saying, well, we was going much of anything to see Richard Davis Memorial Chase at Worcester. I've had a National Flat race in the middle of a card. I think Portsmouth Festival that might be as well, but very few times there's not the final race on the card. So we start there with a juvenile hurdle race over 1 mile 716 yards. A natural Premier Handicap, this time we run the National Novices Handicap Hurdle Race Final over 2 miles 3 furlong 178 yards. Handicap Steeplechase over 3 miles 42 yards. Another Handicap Steeplechase over 2 miles 415 yards, the same distance as a separate non-novice handicap steeplechase. Over Wolverhampton, a couple of races of note. The Lady with Foreigner Stakes over 7 furlongs 36 yards. It took me 3 efforts to work how to get to this meeting. I went to it last year, as I said in my videos. 2 years previously, around about those times. The first year was cheap way via Carlisle. Not quite so much cheap these days as it used to be. From Newcastle train to Carlisle, the last ticket, and then Carlisle to say Wolverhampton, possibly Stratford, places like that, all going north to or Hamilton. But the first year I looked at it, it was Newcastle to Carlisle had the track renovation, made it slower and more expensive. And the second time round next year, Carlisle towards Wolverhampton. I'm quite sure what part of the line that the West Coast Main Line was renovation then as well, make it more expensive and more difficult as well at a longer time. So that's fair. The other race on the card of interest is the Lincoln Trial Handicap Stakes, a 1 mile 143 yards. And finally at Carlisle is another of these veterans chases, and that's over 3 miles and half a furlong. And additionally, at the end of the card, another hunter chase season starting, as I said previously, this sort of period, and that's over 2 miles 4 furlongs 198 yards.